Hello and welcome to Grads Jobs Live by Games Jobs Live, the events that great studios use to connect with brilliant talent. If this is your first Games Jobs Live event, then I'm Colin McDonald. I've been in the games industry for about 30 years now, had the pleasure of working with a bunch of the companies that we've got on today and been a fan of many of the others, all of the others, and in fact, some fantastic games that they've all produced. Today, we're really lucky. The studios we've got presenting to us today are Creative Assembly, Blazing Griffin, 4J Studios, Outplay Entertainment, Huey Games, and Into Games. And they're all here today because they have entry-level opportunities that they're looking for the best possible candidates to apply for. So they're here to present to you, to meet you, and to hear from you. I graduated myself before there was any dedicated games courses anywhere in the UK. It's been that long, seriously. But of course, now there's a whole bunch of great courses targeted at getting people into our industry. But it is still tough. There's more people graduate every year than there are entry-level positions for. But in my experience, the people who are most likely to get in are the ones that are proactive and who work the hardest. So by participating today, you're head and shoulders above many other people that are looking for a job. So fair play to you for coming along today. Make the most of it. There's a 2-hour event, so we've got the companies for a couple of hours. You want to make the most of having them live today. In the live stream, each company only has a few minutes to present because we're trying to fit in half a dozen companies, but it'll at least give you a flavour of who they are and what they do. And then the ball's in your court to follow up with them. For that, you need to be in the Discord. The address is going to scroll along the bottom of the screen throughout the entirety of the live stream. It's discord.gamesjobs.live. That's a redirect link that if you punch it into a browser, it will take you to the Discord. So in a browser, punch in discord.gamesjobs.live. Each company that's presenting today has a dedicated channel in that Discord that they, as of right now, they are in there. They have people in there that are ready and waiting to take your questions and to chat to you. They'll be there for 2 hours. After the live stream finishes, in about an hour and 20, an hour and 30 minutes or something, they'll still be in there for another half an hour so you can ask more questions without worrying about missing any of the information from the live stream. Perfect for people like me that struggle with multitasking. All of today's companies have previously taken part in other Games Jobs Live events. So if you're particularly interested in a company, you can actually scroll up the Discord channel and you'll find all their previous answers and the conversations they've had at the previous events they've been at as well. It's a great resource that I think not enough people have taken advantage of. So do research the companies you're most interested in. The folk from our studios today in the Discord, the ones that are from the companies, you'll find them in green. They'll have a green companies role. So that lets them stand out, and it also means they're moderators of their own channels. So hopefully we won't, but if we do get any idiots, they'll be able to delete or ban them. So alert them or any of our moderators or me if there's any hassle anywhere in the channels. Thank you to our moderator Elspeth for helping out on that front as well in particular. And don't give anyone any personal details in the Discord, regardless where they're supposedly from. If you like what a company has to say, apply directly to them with the details on their website. There'll be an email go out just as the live stream ends with direct links to all of the company's career pages. Basically, the live stream is about finding out about the company. If you like what you hear, chat to the company on the Discord. If you like what they've got to say to you there, apply. It's as simple as that. After each company presents, I will put a couple of questions to each of them in the live stream. So put any questions you'd like me to put to them live into the live stream questions channel. I'm not able to keep across all the different company channels, but if you've got something that you think is relevant to most people, that you think would be good to ask them, put it in the live stream questions channel, and I'll have a skim down that just as we've got each company on for a couple of Q&As after they present. I know we've got some undergraduates on today that are still studying and aren't quite looking for a job. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming along. Hopefully you'll get a lot of tips on what to focus on over the remainder of your studies. Can I just ask, if you're not actively looking for a job at the moment, though, can you only ask companies questions if their channel has a bit of a lull, if there's a bit of a quiet spot, because the companies are here to try and find people that are wanting jobs right now. Everyone that's looking for a job wants a job right now. Your time will come, but if a company does have a wee quiet time, jump in there by all means. But if it's going like a fair, if you can let that leave the focus for the people that are looking for a job right now, please. But do lurk in all their channels. You will pick up some great tips. There is always some great advice from all the companies and from the other attendees at this. So do just engage, chat. There's usually a bit of chat going on for a few days after these events in the channels. So ask away. For everyone watching this live, you'll get the most out of this because you can chat to the companies, but I know not everyone can make it this time. So this is going to be available on catch up forever, as far as I know. So you can rewatch it if you want to see a particular company's presentation again, or pass it on to anyone else. The link will be the same. I also wanted to tell you about a few resources that we've got up on the Games Jobs Live site that we've done that I think are really useful to everyone. So if I just show you what we've got on the website just there. Let's get rid of me. So we have the interactive jobs map that you can see here. There's currently over 2,000 jobs going across the UK in the games industry, and you can explore them all here. You can filter by discipline, seniority. You can zoom in on your area and find out exactly where the jobs are and see what you're most interested in. So that gets updated every month. So do browse that. Our regions page has a summary of the games industry for each of the 12 main regions across the UK. So we've got a little bit about the history of the games industry in each region, a little bit about what to do for fun there, the current major employers, local networks, all that kind of stuff. So have a browse through them for any of the companies you're interested in today, or just in general. We also produce a report analysing the breakdown of those 2,000 jobs that are going in the games industry at the moment. So if you jump onto the news section of our website, you will see this report, and that tells you how many of the jobs are remote, the most common job titles, where they're based in the country, etc., who the top recruiters are, all these great stats. So we produce that every month. So jump onto the news site to get the latest version of that, and then you can subscribe to that if you want that, to keep receiving that every month. If you are enjoying this and would benefit from other events like this, please do like and subscribe to the channel. That always helps us. The more people we get coming along to these, the more studios we get involved, and the more jobs that we can promote to everyone. It's an upward spiral. I'd like to thank the companies that have taken the time out of their busy schedule to participate today. So just as a reminder, you will be hearing from Creative Assembly, Blazing Griffin, Outplay Entertainment, 4J Studios, Huey Games, and Into Games. So it's going to be quite a busy afternoon, particularly if you're trying to keep track of both the live stream and the Discord. But tons of great information, tons of great jobs. So I'm really hoping to hear a number of people getting into jobs as a result of what's been highlighted today. So that's enough from me. I think we'll want to hear from the companies now, so let's crack on. We've been hearing for years that there's increasing overlap between games, TV, and films. And our first company today is one of the relative few that actually span them all. They're a game developer, a film and TV company, and a post-production house. So please welcome Justin from Blazing Griffin.
Thank you, Colin. Good to be back.
Justin, hello. Sorry, a wee bit of delay there, but you're with us now, I think.
Yes, thanks.
Great. Thank you for joining us. I'll leave everyone in your capable hands.
Great, thank you. We've just got a quick show reel to show. And yeah, as you said, Colin, we're not just a games company, and this will highlight a few of the things we've worked on across media. If we Cool, thank you. So as you saw, not just games there. We have, as Colin mentioned, three distinct companies within Blazing Griffin: games, film and TV, and post-production, all based in Glasgow, in Scotland. These three companies came together with this vision of doing more across media, looking at ways of telling stories in the various ways that we enjoy to consume stories, and also looking at bringing the strength of each division to the others. Within games, we have our roots in social deduction multiplayer with the Ship Remastered, Murderous Pursuits. We have also been working in the mystery genre, looking at interesting ways of bringing storytelling, bringing narrative into games in a way that films and TV and linear media aren't able to do. Our most recent title is Murder Mystery Machine, which launched on Apple Arcade and is launching soon on Steam and consoles. We're taking part in Next Fest, and the demo is available right now for anyone who wants to play. Going forward, both multiplayer and single player will be at the core of our studio. We're looking across genres, across platforms, at ways of bringing storytelling, of bringing narrative into our games. And within that, we are looking for a few different roles and I suppose personality types to join us. We are specifically looking for junior roles, specifically junior programmers, junior artists, and graduates. And even if you haven't graduated, still feel free to drop us a line to send in your CVs, your portfolio. We have hired in the past people before they've graduated, and really looking at people who have proven drive, proven creativity. And to go into this a little bit more, we are looking for, in our junior programmers, we mainly work in Unity. We do a little bit at Unreal, especially now that Unreal is is at the intersection of transmedia. Experience in one or the other, or both, is great. We're looking for people who are excited in where technology is going, in new techniques, and really experimental. So anything that you can show that you've done across any genre, again, in your portfolio that you've done university or personal projects, we love to see. Within art, we work and are looking for both 3D and 2D environment, animation, again, looking for people who have a creative spark, a creative motivation, given that we are positioning ourselves at this intersection of media. We like people who come with interesting ideas, references or inspirations from their favorite films, TV, and we like to experiment. Murder Mystery Machine was an experimentation where we brought writers from TV to craft a game that had a very gameplay-centric mind map that you couldn't really create in TV. So we're really looking at that blend, and both, the writing and the design of that was experimental with a unique art wrapping in terms of the isometric. So you may kind of see that I'm not really getting into very specifics, other than like if you feel you're creative, if you feel you're motivated, if you've done some interesting work and are specifically a programmer or artist and can work in those roles, please send us your CV, send us your the things that you've worked on, however basic that is. If you haven't worked on anything, have any personal projects, I'd encourage you to create some, join a game jam, and those are great to be able to assess you and start a discussion. To keep it, I mean, that's kind of it from me. I'll be on the, as opposed to any questions that Colin may have now, but I'm in the Discord and happy to chat for the next couple of hours. Thanks. Oh, also, sorry, something to cover. We do accept completely fully remote. We're based in Glasgow, but we have in the recent year hired people who are fully remote. We'll see what the future holds, and we are looking at bringing people back to the office, but it's obviously complicated at the moment.
So actually, just on that, it's a great first question. Albeit we could ask this of every company. I mean, right now, the people you're hiring fully remote, will those people stay remote, or are you still hoping to bring everyone back to some degree?
So some people will stay fully remote. We have, previously we were all kind of around the Central Belt. Now we have someone in Dundee, someone in Belfast, someone in the south of England. So in a post-COVID world, we're open to people never coming up to the office. We'd like them, maybe for once a month, team building, get to know each other, but it's not a requirement.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting. Everyone's been playing Among Us for the last 12 months, but I mean, you guys were way ahead of the curve in terms of social deduction. I mean, do you feel? Do you feel you're the sort of progenitors of this area?
The Among Us phenomenon is a really interesting one, because we obviously been in the social deduction space for a while, and just before Among Us hit the mass consciousness, we'd been in discussions with a few publishers, and the discussions that we've had with them pre-Among Us and post-Among Us have been very, very different. But what we were generally having our conversations around, pre-Among Us, was trying to convince publishers that actually social deduction has been a very active space, because while Among Us has kind of blown up, you've seen ship-like gameplay in games like Garry's Mod, in games like Roblox, in games like Fortnite. So it's funny to see kind of people see this as a new genre, but yeah, it's been around for a while. We've been working in it for a while, but also modders have been working in it for a long time as well. But yeah, it's great to have more focus on the genre on a whole.
Fantastic. I love how there's now time periods called pre Among Us and post Among Us.
Yes.
It's had that big of an impact, but yeah, it's great. It's great that you're doing so well out of it. That's fantastic. One question from the live stream questions channel, just asking about the general process for the application process for a graduate role. What would people expect to hear back, and how long would it take, and what would they go through?
That is so. In terms of our application process, I'll need to actually check if we've got our applications live, but they will be soon. And you can apply, hand in your CV, cover letter. We generally have 2 or 3 interviews as part of the process. One is a get to know you session as the first interview. Is there a kind of personality fit? And then the second is a more skills-based one. So for programmers, we do ask you to do a test, and we actually have a specific test that we link people to complete, and you'll go through a series of questions. For artists, depending upon your specific role, we'll also ask you to do a test. So for example, can you draw this scene, or can you create this small scene? So there will be some element of test in the second round. And then following that, we'll generally have a third interview if we have any remaining questions or want to chat. In terms of timescale, it can be very fast, or we might hold things off for a little bit. So it's difficult to, it's really project dependent at the moment. So when we have a very strong need, we'll kind of expedite that into a couple of weeks. Really is kind of what's expected. At the moment, I wouldn't say it would be a couple of weeks, but within the next 1 to 2 months, we were looking at hiring some more.
Okay, great. And then a personal question. The question I always love getting answers to is what studios do for fun. And this is kind of a pre-COVID question. Assuming we can go back to normal activities, what do you do for fun? And I say this knowing that you have one of the coolest studios I've been to, because I've had drinks by the fire pit on your rooftop terrace, and not many studios can say that.
So yes, pre-COVID, we had some good events. We're based in an old schoolhouse, as you've been to in Kinning Park in Glasgow. Kinning Park is a really nice area. It was a bit industrial, but there is a bouldering gym just opposite the road, which I go to during lunchtimes. There's Laser Quest. There's a trampoline park. There's a roller skate rink. In terms of what we as a group do, we used to have games nights in the office, get the projector open. We now have kind of transitioned to online games. We have a regular game studio session where we will pick a game, or even have someone come to talk. And also, more recently, get people to play our own games. We'll do some gameplay testing as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a common question. Do you play your own game? I mean, I got to be honest. After I've spent years working on a game, I'm kind of sick of my own games, and regardless how good they are. So that can be sometimes quite hard. But it's still, particularly when they're social games, that makes all the difference.
Yeah. Actually, when lockdown first hit, we started playing a game called Code Words and Pictionary, which, if anyone has a group of people who are remote, I think they're fantastic games to play with 10 other people.
Brilliant. Cool. Well, I hope a number of the people watching and participating today get to join you on some of those games, get to experience your rooftop fire pit, as do I again one day. So fingers crossed it's not too much longer. Justin, thanks very much for taking the time to join us. You're in the Discord.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So if you're not already on, jump on to discord.gamesjobs.live, where Justin and Blazing Griffin are staffing their channel, as are the other companies that we've got coming up today. So follow up with them, ask all the other questions, some of the more specific ones that you put in the live stream questions that I've not been able to ask, and get applying. Justin, Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. It was great. And yeah, I'll see everyone in the Discord.
Perfect. Cheers.
Thanks.
Fantastic. So do jump onto the Discord, get chatting to Justin and everyone else. One of the questions that came up in the live stream question was actually a very timely reminder that I forgot to say something in my introduction. One of the bits of advice that most studios, and certainly I keep giving out, is that particularly as a graduate, it's often difficult to get your first bits of experience, but game jams are a fantastic way to do that. And I hear that from most of the studios as well. So we have organised a series of game jams in the past. We have our next one coming up. So starting, I've forgotten the exact date, but it's in the early July, we have the Game Parade Summer 2021 Game Jam. The point of these game jams is to get people to make amazing games that are then put in front of industry. We get dozens of industry judges from the likes of the companies you've heard from at all the Games Jobs live events to judge all the games that come in, provide feedback, and hopefully start a conversation between the people submitting the games and industry that's judging them. So if you want more details to sign up for that, we've not announced the judges yet, but there's been some really prestigious companies get involved in the past. So get on to jam.gamesjobs.live. It's all hosted on itch, and you'll get all the details there. The jam runs for a week. You've got a week to make your game, and then there's a week where you can update your game. It's something we're doing different this time around. And there's a couple of weeks where we give the industry judges to get through the games, and there'll be various live streams throughout the whole thing, so that we can showcase as many of the games as possible, and that we do an awards ceremony and announcing who the winners are. So we try and get as much exposure about each of the games as well. So get onto that and hopefully see as many of your games as possible. Moving on to our next company, we are going to be staying in Scotland for our next studio, who both develop and publish a string of successful mobile games. They cover a huge range of genres, IPs, and most recently, even getting Gordon Ramsay into a game, which I'm sure the dialogue writers had fun with. So here from Outplay Entertainment is Alison.
Hello. Hi, thanks for that intro there. That was very nice.
No. Hopefully, I got the details right. But yeah, I know Outplay really well.
Right off the bat, you make an interesting point with the dialogue. It was an interesting. There's a lot of A/B tests there. How far can we push this here with the language and what he says? And I'll be honest, it went on sort of more than what we were expecting. People are expecting more saucy language from Gordon, and we're trying to be really diplomatic and polite, but they want the Gordon language. Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad it got out. It got through all the certification processes and was allowed out. So that's the main thing. Alison, I'll leave everyone in your hands.
I assume everyone can see that now? Oh, maybe you can do a shout. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So, hi, as Colin sort of introduced me there, I am Alison. I'm the Senior HR Advisor from Outplay Entertainment. As Colin rightly said, we are a publisher, so we develop our games in-house. Most recently, I'll go through some of the games that we've had, but we always like to do these events just to connect with talent looking to get into the industry. It's a great time for us to have this grad special because we are looking for some grads at the moment. It's nice and timely for everyone finishing university, and even recent grads, maybe sort of a year or two's experience as well. We still consider them graduates as well. So it's really timely for us to be able to explore people looking to move into the industry or those thinking ahead as well. So we'll be in the Discord channel as well later on, so I look forward to chatting to more people in Discord after today's event. I'll be there from right after my session, so if anyone wants any questions answered or some more tips and advice, then I'm happy to do that. Yeah. briefly, all we'll do is introduce a bit of the studio, who we are, what our values and our culture and that is, just so that you can get to know us. And then I'll just dive right into sort of what roles we have available, some tips, some advice, some industry resources that might be useful. So without further ado, I'll crack on with that. So we're Outplay Entertainment. We're a free-to-play mobile publisher based in Dundee, but right off the bat, it's worth saying that we're now a hybrid studio. So we're taking part in a really large study with a company called Endgame, and they're looking at what will hybrid working look like for Outplay longer term. So at the moment, we're obviously working in line with government advice as to everyone sort of who can go into the office and when, and preparing for that accordingly. But long term, we'll be a hybrid studio. So we'll stay that way. So it's changed dramatically for us. So we've had to sort of make sure everyone's set up effectively from wherever they're working, and we have people across the globe. So we have people as far as India, but also sort of within Europe, so Netherlands, Spain, Germany. So we have people from all over, and we're looking to just extend that. So things have changed massively in the last year, and we won't go back to being the same studio that we were. So just for keeping in mind for the later opportunities that I'm going to discuss, remote opportunities are there. So we're not looking to change that anytime soon. So at the moment, we've got around 130 staff. That's over 23 different nationalities. Founded in 2010, so we're based in Dundee, as I said. We're one of the largest independent mobile developers in the UK. So to date, we've had over 140 million downloads, including launching 11 titles with new games in the pipeline. As you can see from the slides here, Ramsey is one of the latest ones that we've introduced. Due to the pandemic, unfortunately, he's not been able to come into the studio, so we'll hopefully get him in one day soon. But it is really cool getting videos and messages sent to everyone at Outplay and that, and it's been amazing to see all the social sort of collaborations and that we've been doing with him. And our latest game that we've just released is a game called Mystery Match. So there's lots more exciting games in the pipeline. We are doing a lot of R&D at the moment, so there's new games that they're just at the conception stage. So it's an exciting time to be a part of games that have already launched, been well established. Angry Birds, for example, we have a number of already established titles that are live, and we've also got new upcoming games as well. So just to briefly go through what our vision is, we like to create moments of delight. So what an amazing opportunity for us is that we create those moments of delight for people. So whether it's people looking to escape, a student looking to escape studying who wants to play one of our games for 10 minutes, or they're socially connecting with family who are really far away, it's easy to forget every day that that's what we do. And the work that we do, every time you sit down at your desk, that's the output of what we get, is creating those moments of delight for people. So we like to do that for our games, but also we like to embed that into our studio as well, and our practices and what we do. So for our culture, it's all about creating and delivering world-class games, pushing the quality bar of games and our player experience. Simply put, to us, great teams make great games. Our values, so we like passion for excellence, clarity of purpose, impact and ambition, and include and recognise. And that's basically passion for our excellence is we believe we should be the best of the best. We're continuously developing our skills. We want to use that, share insights, facilitate knowledge for everyone. Clarity of purpose, we all know what we're doing and why. Impact and ambition, well, we know what we're doing. How do we then deliver that? How can we push the boundaries of what we're trying to do? And then include and recognise is just part of who we are. So as part of that hybrid working, again, we're looking at really investing in our teams and our equipment for high performance, and we're committed to building an unbeatable supportive culture of excellence where everyone's able to achieve their potential, no matter where they're from. We also have something called the Outplay Academy. We do a lot of things through the umbrella of the Academy. We invite guest speakers in, but it's notable industry experts to inspire and share their experience with the knowledge and across the teams. We also host internal workshops. We host a suite of internal workshops that are open to everyone. People can develop their soft skills, presentation skills, internal knowledge sharing, cross-discipline exposure. We have Academy afternoons once a month. So we've got our next one next Friday, for example, and some of the engineering team are running a Unity session. So it's really organic. We always have like a big ticket item so that someone can come along, whether that's someone from analytics sharing the recent report that they've been doing, or someone from art running a rigging session, or lighting or animation, whatever that may be. So we always have a big ticket item, but then everyone else in the studio can choose what they want to do. So if they want to do something as a team, they can do that. If they want to arrange something through us and we pay for a resource to come in and do something, we can absolutely do that. If they just want to sit on their own and do some learning, that's absolutely fine. So everyone's got sort of room to manoeuvre and be flexible to do whatever it is that they so choose to do. And we also do a lot of team building and leadership development. Big change since doing this in COVID time, so we've had to switch our strategies up and do this in a new way, but we do really spend a lot of time to deliver targeted leadership and development courses and workshops so that the teams can get to know each other. We will have a big focus on this moving forward in this new way of working. It will still be virtual, but even more so now than ever. We need to make that conscious effort for people to connect and build relationships and build trust and common understanding and all these sorts of things. So these are probably more important for us now than ever. We have learning tools and dedicated development times. As I said, we've got the Academy afternoon, but we also have access to industry resources. So GDC Vault, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, all these sorts of online resources that we do, in addition to, obviously, as and when we can, COVID permitting, get people in the studio as well. We do conferences as well, so for us, obviously, things have changed. Can't probably hear that message 10 million times today, but things have changed a lot with COVID, but one of the positive outcomes of that is attendance at conferences and events have completely opened up. So there's a lot more opportunity now for companies to allow more individuals to go, given that there's less of a burden on sort of travel and accommodation and ticket costs. A lot of these have just been made free throughout the pandemic. So it's really shown some creativity and innovation during this pandemic, the way that people have come up with ways in which they can run conferences and events. It's been amazing to see. Diversity and inclusion, we do a lot of work with that. So we are Women in Games ambassadors, so we do a lot of work with Women in Games. We also have an internal initiative called Outplay, and we do focus groups for that. We have goals for that. We run sessions. It's about 50-50 male and female split, and that's just looking at what more can we do for diversity and inclusion. So small things, big things, initiatives, small changes. So we do a lot in the diversity and inclusion side of things. And then we also just run events for special effects as well, who are sort of industry charity. Social events, again, obviously very different. Even as a hybrid studio, we will bring them back. We used to do like football on a Tuesday and basketball on a Friday and all these sorts of things. So we still do want to bring big parties and things back, but we just have to figure out how does that work remotely? How do people sort of work in, whether it's down in London or Spain or wherever that may be, how do they still feel part of the social events that we do? So we will bring that back. And then impact of COVID-19, we've kind of touched on it. We're continuing to support people remotely. We've hired exceptionally throughout the pandemic, and we're still hiring now. So I'll go through our current opportunities in a slide or two, and then we're just continuing to sort of find new ways of that social culture, explore long-term hybrid model of remote and on-site working, how that could work. So current opportunities. For the avoidance of doubt, we've highlighted there in a very bold yellow there some of the grad roles that we're looking for. So obviously we're hiring other roles as well, but since this is a grad special, I wanted to highlight that those sort of mid-level to junior / grad roles that we're hiring for. In terms of our application process, we normally have an initial call just to find out a bit more about Outplay, a bit more about the individual's experience and expertise. We then have a test usually, so we'll put the individual on a test. We then have a team interview and a project interview. These can vary by roles, so that tends to be sort of 3 or 4 chats with whether it's the team or the project or whatever, and then obviously, hopefully, at the offer stage. In terms of the grad roles that we have, so we've got some there for engineering, we have one for production, we've got a couple in marketing, so marketing manager and marketing artist, and then design, we've got mid-level design as well. How to apply, you can do that through outplay.com. And I've also put some industry resources here as well. So if you don't see a role that's quite right there for you, I can't suggest highly enough some of the stuff that Colin mentioned earlier about attending things like game jams and that. I can't advise highly enough about networking and attending events. It just takes to attend the right thing and speak to someone who knows that they're hiring for a grad. So attend as much as possible, get immersed in it, knowing places to go to find out these sort of where the events are happening and who's hiring and what they're looking for. Being a part of that and getting involved can really help with getting into the industry. And also in terms of the application itself, relevant portfolio, make sure you've checked out the company, make sure you don't copy and paste and you're emailing us names of companies that isn't us, and we can tell you just copied and pasted. We've all been there and done it, but it's more impactful if you direct the focus to the company that it is. We can tell when there's more investment there. We like to see a cover letter. It tells us a bit more narrative around the history of the person and how they've come to be where they are. It's not mandatory, but we do like to learn a little bit more about you other than just sort of what's on your CV. So that's me. Any questions? I'll just stop sharing.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Alison. We're short on time, but just one very quick question. There's been a couple of questions come through, people asking about experience. And obviously, I mean, when we're talking about graduate roles, there's a limit
Yeah.
how much games industry experience someone can have. But for example, for your graduate roles, would you be looking at people that have graduated from non-games degrees, more general degrees, but are looking to transition into games?
They vary very much by discipline. So marketing, for example, we have a couple of roles in marketing, and some of them are like social media marketing, where they're happy for people to come in with whether it's experience, that might not be industry experience, that's okay, as long as it's social media, that experience is fine. In terms of degree qualifications and that as well, they're open to sort of alternative degrees. Same with so engineering, obviously we're looking for someone who's ideally got an engineering degree. On the job learning is fine, but it doesn't have to be industry either, and it doesn't have to be significant engineering experience either. So that's the ones that probably really want to highlight. In terms of engineering and production, they're some of the ones that we're sort of really open to. Like, it doesn't matter if you've not got 3 years experience, we're here to teach you. So it's almost like a sort of internship, if you like, rather than with the graduates. We had a couple of graduates last year from GCU, and they actually attended they were still at university whilst they were with us, did their 4th year whilst they were at university, and then we've since hired them. So we tailored their work day towards what they had to do at university. So all that stuff was teaching them on the job to bring that sort of theoretical application into practice. So we don't have to have significant experience or expect the academic side of it to directly correlate. For some of them we do, but it's worth getting in touch to explore what they are and what they look like, and we can give you more details.
Okay, great. And you're on the Discord?
Yep, we'll jump on after this. If anyone wants to catch up, ask any questions, I'll be here.
Absolutely. I think you might get 1 or 2. So just as a wee,
here we go.
as a wee reminder, the address for the Discord is discord.gamesjobs.live. If you punch that into a browser, it will redirect you to the right Discord server. So jump onto there, chat to Alison from Outplay, as well as all the other companies we've got today. Ask them anything you want to know about applying to them, about them. And if you like what you hear, then get applying and let us know. Alison, thanks very much for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Colin. Take care.
Cheers, Alison. Bye. Great stuff. Okay, so do jump on, chat to Outplay, and to everyone else. Still to come, we have a bunch of great companies. We have Huey Games, we have 4G Studios, we have Creative Assembly, and we have Into Games. So do stick around. We're chatting to the companies for the next 45 minutes, but everyone's on the Discord for the next hour and a quarter. So moving on. Most folk will probably be too young, but I grew up playing the games our next company takes its name from. And they've been just as prolific, working on a huge number of games across countless platforms. And I can particularly recommend their game Hyper Sentinel on Switch, if you haven't played that one yet. So please let me welcome Rob from Huey Games.
Hello.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, Colin. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Well, I've got a presentation, so I'll just pop that up on screen and dive straight in. Keep it short and sweet. So yeah, we're Huey Games. And how do I get to the next slide? There we go. There we go. Who are we? What do we do? So there's a number of things that we do. One of the biggest things that we do is console porting. So our smart console porting, powered by our Huey core tech for our clients, converting titles to across all consoles. We also do game add-ons, so digital art books, dynamic themes, soundtrack apps, and we have a tech team, a plug-in tech team with our clients. So we do a lot of work with publishers who work with indie teams. We come in and do the porting and add technical features to the game, whether it be multiplayer, cross-play, optimization, and so on. And we also make original games. Colin very kindly mentioned Hyper Sentinel there. We make games that are character-centric and focus on the joy of movement, or kinetic gameplay, if you like. So you can see we've got Rec out there, which is coming out next year, and Mechanus further down the line. And we develop across all consoles. We're very much a console-focused developer. One of the other cool things that we do, speaking of retro, is we actually license and publish physical games on our collector's USB cassette series. We fund these on Kickstarter. We've done 11 successful Kickstarters now. So we work with a bunch of partners, different publishers and developers, to get their kind of neo-retro games out to our retro-loving audience. So that's a really fun thing that we do as well. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our experience with Games Jobs Live as well. We love Games Jobs Live. James Easton was on Games Jobs Live last year. He applied for a job as a programmer at Huey Games, and he joined us in September last year. And since September, he's completed the PS4 and Xbox One ports of Switch and Shoot. He developed the digital art book, the dynamic theme, and the soundtrack application for the PS4 special edition of Little Nightmares 2, or the TV edition, as they called it. And he's worked on the console ports and some of the technical features on Kiwi for our partner Sold Out, and that's coming out in August. So already he's got 3 projects under his belt, and he's going to have a 4th project by the time he's celebrating his 1st anniversary as a Huey. So one of the things that we really are proud of being able to offer to people who come and join us is a really diverse set of projects to get under your belt in short order. So the positions that we've got available just now, we're looking for, in terms of graduates, we're looking for a programmer, graduate programmer. We're looking for a QA tester. And we do also have some internships that we're looking for as well. So a technical designer, game programmer, and 3D artist in particular. But we will have more positions opening up soon. So please do bookmark our careers page. We're expanding quite rapidly. And so, yeah, look for more positions opening up soon. In terms of why join Huey Games, we are a remote company. We've always been a remote company, so we're pretty hot on that. We offer flexible hours. You do get that variety of work and projects, as I talked about. And because we are a small but rapidly growing developer, you can help shape the story of Huey Games and help us develop the culture and kind of get in early on that journey. Our values as a company, we believe in delivery-focused production, and we prioritize a healthy work-life balance as part of that. We believe in shared responsibility across the whole company. So we're solution-oriented. That means that we look to fix the problem, not fix the blame. And we are focused on equality, diversity, and inclusion. We know we've got a lot of work to do on that, as I'm sure many people do. But we are committed to it, and as part of that, we're signed up to the Raise the Game pledge from Yuki. Openness and learning is important to us as well. We believe you never stop learning, which means there's no such thing as a stupid question. Asking stupid questions is good. And we believe in operating to the highest standards of professionalism. So if that sounds like you, then please do apply. We'd love to hear from you. And that's it. Here's my contact details. There's my email, the web address, my personal Twitter, and also the company Twitter account. So get in touch, apply, and come and join us and be a Huey. Cheers.
Fantastic. And we'll just leave those details up so that people can stalk you in whichever fashion they they choose. The spread of stuff you've done is really interesting. Sorry if I was distracted on the Discord, but I was wanting to ask you a little bit more about the jumping between doing ports versus you've obviously done a bunch of your own IP as well. I always find the grass is always greener. That I know studios that focus only on ports and want to do IP and vice versa. Is that part of the appeal? Is just the variety of it all?
Yeah, there is. It does look like we're doing a lot of different stuff, but there's a coherent strategy that how they all connect together. So doing the cassettes, we've made relationships with publishers who we've now gone on to do porting contracts with, for example. And we really love doing porting. We love working with other teams. You learn a lot from getting stuck into other people's code. And we have the pleasure of working with, indie teams, smaller teams, and really helping them to kind of make the most of their games. So Kiwi, for example, is 3 developers over in the States, and we've got to go on that journey with them. So we love doing that, but we also love working on original games. It is obviously important to be able to kind of silo those things off so that they don't clash in any way, and we have a structure in place for that. But there are opportunities on both sides of that fence.
Very cool. And my standard favourite question, in terms of what you do for fun outside of finishing these multitude of projects.
But me personally, or as a company?
As a company.
As a company, yes. We like to get together. We went out in Manchester last week, had a curry, had a few drinks. We just like to get together and quite casual about it. We like to go to a lot of events and sort of exhibit our games. We took Hyper Sentinel all around the UK and Europe to exhibit it. We like to let people get to events and really get in touch with the people playing our games as well. So we have a lot of fun doing what we do.
Brilliant. And then a couple of questions around general advice of, what would you recommend people do or don't do in terms of their, a graduate application and portfolio? Any red flags or any top tips?
I think as the last speaker said, networking is really important, and it's so get out there, get your face out there, talk to people, learn from them. For us, I think keep it really, really simple. Put just the best things in your portfolio right at the front. Don't feel like to put everything in there. Just filter it to just what you think really, really represents you, because people will be, the first thing they see is going to be the biggest impression. And the same goes for CVs as well. Really keep it really clean so you can immediately see the sort of best selling points at the front. I think those would be my tips.
Yeah, I think the portfolio point is really important. I once had an art director explain to me that if people don't have the judgment to weed out their weaker stuff in their own CV, how are they going to have that same judgment when they're in the job?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, as someone that's recruiting, you've got lots and lots of CVs to look through, so you want to kind of catch those things straight away.
Brilliant, great advice. Rob, thank you very much. I think you're already answering questions away in the Discord, so thank you for joining that. And you're going to be in there for the next hour, fending off people that are stalking you across Twitter and everything else. So if anyone's not already on the Discord, do jump on to discord.gamesjobs.live, where Rob from Huey Games and all the other companies are on answering your questions. And I know Huey's previously hired through a Games Jobs Live event, which is fantastic to hear. That made my day when I heard that. So let's do it again. Let's make it happen again.
Yep, let's do it. Thank you.
Brilliant. All right. Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Cheers.
Bye. Great. So get on, chat to Rob, Huey, and all the other companies. Coming up, we still have Into Games, Creative Assembly, and 4J Studios. So let's just crack on. So we've got a familiar face. They're an organisation that I think does brilliant work. Into Games are a non-profit that supports people getting into the games industry. So it's a great pleasure to welcome back their head honcho, Declan.
Hey, hi Colin. How you doing?
Hey, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, really nice to see you.
And yourself. Thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure. I got some flowers because I thought, that would brighten up the mood.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, exactly. I've done a rubbish job with my background here. Let's pretend it's filtered out and I'm not really.
We can focus on your lovely face. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, God save us all. Never mind. Declan, I'll let you tell us more.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So just thank you so once again. Always thank you so much for inviting me on here. Like Games Jobs Live is one of my favorite things, and we really enjoy connecting to all of the fantastic potential candidates that watch this and get connected to brilliant recruiters across the game sector. So I always come here with a couple of things to talk about that will be relevant specifically to you guys that are currently searching for work. Today I've got two things to talk about, and especially if you're graduating, and either you've already graduated or you're about to graduate, there might be a point or a period of time when you decide that you need to go on universal credit before you get a full job. You might need some time to find that work, and actually that's potentially one of the best things you can do right now, because Intergames and Yuki are a gateway provider for the Kickstart program. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a government-backed program to support young people, so 16 to 24, into work who are on universal credit. And that might be you once you, as I say, have graduated. We've managed to kind of pull together over 60 different roles from studios all across the UK, entry-level positions that you can apply to for a 6-month period, paid work with a whole bunch of different studios. And I'm just going to briefly share my screen and show you some of those studios that you can apply to. So what you need to do is head to workwithindies.com/kickstart. That's where we're hosting all of these job positions initially. So Work with Indies is a fantastic website if you haven't used it before. Once again, a first port of call if you're looking for work. But if you go, I'll post this in the Discord afterwards as well. But as you can see right here, we've got a whole bunch of different entry-level positions, from programming, 3D artists, QA testers, administrative stuff as well. So, if you feel like you are not, there's a particular area that you are a specialist in yet, you might just want to get your foot in the door. And actually, some of these kind of office-based positions, although they might not be the most exciting in the world, actually, it's fantastic to see the operation from that side, and they can act as a really great gateway position into other bits of work in the studio that you might want to do at a later stage. Lots of these roles are location-based, but probably more of them are remote. So you can apply to these from wherever you are, and you can see, there's roles from EA, there's roles from, Level 10 Games, Pocket Sized Hands, Spilt Milk, Dreams, loads of great studios there, and we're adding to these all the time. So what you'll want to do is definitely join our Twitter feed, so that's Intergames HQ, or join our Discord where we post all the new jobs as they come through as well. Once again, you'll have to be on universal credit to apply for these, and you can really easily apply for these roles in about 5 minutes through the link from any of these jobs through here. So if you click here, you can apply for that job immediately through one of our forms here. Once you apply, we'll connect you to that role through your career coach, through the DWP. So, through your career coach as while you'll be on universal credit. So it's a little bit of a strange way of applying, but it's the way that it's been set up by the government. So once again, there's just so many great roles on there. So definitely check this out. I'll be in the chat after this to answer any questions, because I realize there's probably a few questions that you might have around this. But I've only got a couple of minutes left. So I just want to move from that onto pushing our careers fair. So Intergames, we're running our first online careers fair on the 29th of July. So we just announced this yesterday. It's a full day with some really exciting studios there. So we've got plenty more to announce, but so far we've got Playground Games, Avalanche, Hangar 13, Payload. So, we've got, there's makers of kind of Forza Horizon, Just Cause. I think we've got a few other very, very big studios coming on board very soon as well. This day will be a way of those studios talking about the job roles that they have on offer. We'll be setting up one-to-ones with some of their recruiters. There'll be portfolio reviews happening all day. And then really importantly, we're going to be having 7 panels that will run throughout the day as well. And they will very specifically be discipline-based. We'll offer really clear, practical tips on how to get your first role in each one of these disciplines. So art, audio, production, design, programming, kind of marketing, community building, and how to set up an indie studio, which I know many of you might want to do in the future. So it's completely free. Do sign up if you can. It'll be a great opportunity, and even if you are currently in a role, you might want to check out some others. So yeah, plenty of ways to get involved. And once again, best way to connect with all of this is to go to intergames.org/Discord and just join our really lively Discord server, where you can connect to the whole bigger community, lots of industry professionals on there. And it's all free for you to do. So please do it. Fantastic.
Great, thank you very much for that. We'll need to move on, but just one question. There's been a question come in on the Discord. Someone that has already engaged with Kickstarter, which is great. They've not found the exact role for them, so they're just asking about, will any new roles be added?
Yeah, very much so. So we should have another 28 roles being added over the next couple of weeks. And then we're hoping to add another 150 by the end of this year. So they'll come in dribs and drabs. So there's quite a big, long process to get a studio on board, and then to kind of work with them to kind of tease out which roles they need, and then to get that all through the DWP. So it can take up to 2 months from a studio initially saying they want to bring on someone on board. So it's quite a lengthy thing, but we've got quite a pipeline of studios. So as I say, we're hoping to put another 150 roles by the end of this year. Keep on checking, get on the Discord, get on our Twitter. We're constantly posting the new roles that are on there, and just stay connected to us. But don't lose hope. There's lots of stuff to come.
Brilliant. Yeah, great work getting so many jobs all on one place. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. So all credit to you and everyone else at Into Games for the great work you're doing.
Thanks, Colin. It's really appreciated.
And thanks for taking the time to come on. And hopefully a lot of people know about the various initiatives, but there's maybe a few more know after today as well. So
thanks so much. Brilliant. Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers, Declan. Bye for now. Okay, great. Okay, tons of great opportunities there on Into Games. So do check out their website, check out their Discord and everything. A bunch of great folk. Okay, moving on. We have a company that was formed some time ago, back in 1987, and they have definitely aged better than me, going from strength to strength, now with over 800 staff in Horsham, sort of halfway between London and the South Coast. Many people know them best for their epic Total War series, although personally, Alien Isolation was my cup of tea. So it gives me a great pleasure to welcome Luke from Creative Assembly. Hi, Luke.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'll leave everyone with you.
Cool. So hello everyone. My name is Luke from Creative Assembly. Hopefully, I will start sharing a presentation with you now, which hopefully will kick in. Fantastic. So I will just go into this for you. So I work for Creative Assembly. We're obviously, as I said, based in Horsham, and we have numerous sort of roles that come live. So we are a studio that has spent a lot of time building up to where we are in terms of sort of not just the portfolio of games that we make, but also in terms of the staff, and then also the benefits and the training and everything that goes along with those, and also providing an environment for you to obviously perform your best. So along with that, we have a new addition in Horsham. We've grown so much we don't fit in two places. We now need a third. So we have a new state-of-the-art studio. We also have our mocap studio, which is also moved in. It's huge as well. Obviously, you may know Creative Assembly from the games. You may also know us from winning various different sets of awards for the games we've made, which is obviously a lovely bit of extra incentive. We've been making AAA games for a long time. We've sold a lot of them as well, and obviously hoping that will continue to grow with the various new titles and new IPs that we work on. CA, like most companies, has a set of values which are at the core of what we do. So obviously they sort of generally speak for themselves. Hopefully what this indicates is that fundamentally CA is all about doing things correctly and doing things the right way. What that generally means is that employees are put first in terms of our values, in terms of how you should be treated and how we should all operate within the studio. As with most studios, massive lists of benefits. I've worked in various different industries, and I'll tell you now, you generally don't get as many benefits as you do as when you work in a game studio. So, I've worked in companies where you have to pay for a cup of tea. I've worked in companies where you have to bring your own tea bags in. I'm sure everyone's been in similar situations as well, or worked for companies like that. You don't get any of that sort of nonsense in games. So whether it's everything that's the sort of super life important stuff, like, your development, your training, whether it's your salary reviews, whether it's all of these sorts of things, down to the minuscule sort of things. The main things I'd say is obviously all of these discounts are, and all of the benefits we offer are constantly reviewed, added to, amended, and grown. So, for example, we've recently had our pension contribution slightly raised, so it now goes up to 6% matched contribution. Obviously, if you're younger, that tends to be less interesting, but for those that are getting older, it very much seems to matter. Private medical, private dental, and loads of other different things that hopefully mean that we are one of the more attractive employers for you to look at. We obviously have our own website. We also put out something called Creative Chronicles. We have a YouTube channel which have masterclass and dev talks. We have Twitter, obviously, and then we have ArtStation, so you can see the work we're putting out, but also hopefully show the standard of things that we're also putting, and what we'd be looking for from your portfolios is great to go through ArtStation. But if you're looking for YouTube classes, we have everything on there, from cinematics, production, how to do our trailers, and everything in between as well, UI and everything else. So it's a really good place for you to look at from a our studio, what we look for, what we're producing, what skills you need, and how we go about the processes and the pipelines that we follow. Some of them can be a little bit more in depth. Lots of them are aimed at giving you an insight into working in a AAA studio. Job roles at CA. So what you'll probably all notice as you start looking for jobs is there are never-ending sort of lists of job titles that always seem to vary, and some of them mean different things in different places. That is sadly always going to be the case because everyone names it something different. But essentially, you can break it down to, we have roles in animation, art, audio, business planning, analysis, design, DevOps, human resources, IT, marketing and PR, ops, production, programming, quality assurance, web development. What adds in there now is things like live ops, and these sorts of things are now sort of an area which is massively growing, which you may see more and more of as you go through. Here's a list of some of the current openings. These change constantly. Last year we hired over 200 people. What that means is that we get a lot of number of new jobs. We get a lot of graduate opportunities. We tend to sort of add these as and when they're needed. We add a lot of graduate opportunities in April, May, or just around the Easter time. They are hugely, hugely, hugely popular. What that means is that literally as of this morning, we've had to put on hold the graduate C++ programmer that was live up until yesterday evening, along with our graduate character artist. We've had hundreds and hundreds or thousands of applications. We've gone through the process of interviewing those fairly swiftly, and are now at stages where offers are being made. However, we know there are future opportunities in the pipeline. There are more opportunities coming. So it's a case of keep an eye out for those. The other big thing I need to say to people as well is, which I will always say, is that you will notice job titles will have nothing written before them, like graphics programmers or network programmer, or they will have lead VFX or senior user. If a job title has junior, associate, trainee, graduate, they're at the lower end of the requirements. Therefore, feel free as an entry-level person to apply for all of those. If it just says the developer level role, so like core systems programmer, graphics programmer, UI programmer, you are more than welcome to apply for these, but just be aware you're competing against potentially industry professionals who are not yet seniors, but are attracted to these roles. If you're looking at senior, principal, lead, I genuinely would say that you can apply, but the answer is you'll be rejected. And if you feel awful about that, it's simply because you don't meet those requirements. We're looking for above and beyond what potentially you're going to be able to offer. So certainly do keep an eye on all of our general vacancies. Also, please feel free to contact any of the recruitment team directly. If you have questions about if you should apply, we can help with whether that's something we'd recommend or not doing based on where we're at in the current recruitment cycle for those. That hopefully gives you a little bit of information about our studio. So that is that bit finished for you. I believe Colin might have a video to play potentially as well. Cool. Thanks very much. So yeah, that's hopefully the most of the presentation part. I'm sure probably millions of you will have questions, which we're more than happy to field. I'm sure Colin's going to have a few for me in a second as well, and we could go through some of those as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, fantastic presentation. I'm sure I can come up with a couple of questions for you, Luke. Yeah, I mean, just on the perks alone. I mean, this is there's pros and cons of whether you work for a small company or a big company.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a massive perk of working for a big company is the perks. The Games Jobs Live office. We've got to bring our own tea bags. It's not a good situation. But I mean, pension's an interesting one as well. That a lot of the folk today are at the start of their career, and if they're like me, they're not going to be thinking very much about pension. But it's one of those, where starting your contribution as you graduate, it's worth 10 times as much by the time you get into your 40s and actually start worrying about it.
It's one of the boring life things that you don't really, when you're young, you're completely immune to absolutely everything. You're invincible. You're going to live forever, and everything is achievable. And as you suddenly get older, you go, oh, when I retire, what am I going to have and how am I going to survive? And all these sorts of, questions you think are miles away. That and again, an interview process and part of learning about where you want to work is what they offer you and how valuable that is to you. So, there's all these things to weigh up. It might be that the salary compensates other benefits. It might be that the working flexibilities and what you're working on is going to do that. I mean, the games industry is rife with people will choose to work for a company not because of what they offer and who they are and how good they treat their employees, but because they make a certain type of game. And that's something that, you have to weigh up, that you have to consider. Luckily, CA's been around 33 years or so now. So we have people that have been here 33 years. So if you want to forge a long career with one studio where these benefits matter a lot, it's definitely something to consider.
I mean, on that thing about people wanting to work on specific games or specific genres, I mean, that's probably been a common question just in the run up to this event. People going, oh, Total War, great! I'd love to work on that. I mean, how important is that someone has a passion for a genre?
So, as you can imagine, if you look at Total War, there's been historical Total War games made since 20 years ago. So that is something that obviously we do. They vary. If you look at what we've made from Shogun to Rome to Medieval to 3K, etc., they vary. So therefore, that's what you can expect from some of Total War. We've obviously added the fantasy element now, and who knows in the future what that's going to lead to. But if you're a fan of strategy or you're a fan of our games, that's obviously great and that's fantastic. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. Like you said, Alien Isolation was your bag. Well, at a certain point in CA's history, if you were an animator, do you want to animate a unit that's going to be in Shogun 2, or do you want to animate an alien? It might be there's an easy answer for that. And actually, fundamentally, that might apply to a lot of studios. For when you're applying to them, what you're going to be doing is how interesting that's going to be to you. It might be in terms of the game. It might be in terms of how challenging or interesting the technical aspect of the role is going to be for you. So, if you're working on a first-person shooter and you're working in audio, guess what you're going to be recording lots of? Gun noises, right? It sometimes speaks for itself, but it's good. Everyone should do their research, because if you understand the types of games they make, you understand the type of work they're probably going to be asking you to do, which means you're pre-armed with the expectation of hopefully what some of the questions are going to be around, and also the level of interest you have in that. Not every role's for every person. Some people want to work at big studios, some people want to work at small studios, some people really hate RTS games, some people absolutely live and die RTS games. But it's good to let us know, if you like our games, you know what we do, fantastic. If you don't, go on YouTube, watch a few gameplay trailers and say, yep, I understand what you make and why you make them.
Good advice, yeah. And if you are one of the animators that worked on the Alien game, I'm sorry I didn't see many of your animations. I was too busy hiding in lockers for the whole time, so it scared me stiff. And then, I mean, 800 people. I mean, you probably are the biggest studio in the UK.
I think so now. In terms of if you look at how many people are based in the UK solely, in terms of there's obviously massive studios that have arms around the world, and the UK makes up a component of those, or they're bigger groups with small individual studios all clumped together under one name. In terms of an individual developer, then yes, we are also part of the Sega family, which obviously has Relic and Sports Interactive and various different other names under their 2 Point Studios now as well, and Amplitude and etc. But in terms of an individual developer, yes, we are massive. We've obviously grown. We have the Sophia office now, which is 100 odd people, so it's not the most that it's a smaller, that's obviously been growing, but yeah, the predominant amount of growth, the huge growth, has been in Horsham. So I joined just over 5 years ago and we were 300 something, and now obviously as a total we're 800 something, so it's been some big growth.
So what's the just on that, just a final question, what's the potential? Someone joins a team, a discipline. I mean, how much movement is there between disciplines? I mean, not even thinking about the wider Sega family, just within CA.
Yeah, so I mean, CA has a long reputation of, since I joined, there is masses of QAs that have gone into cinematics, sound design, production, art, animate. We have a history of developing, QA sometimes seen as that gateway in for a lot of people, and we have a history of developing those up. But actually, we have people that have joined as audio programmers that are now gameplay programmers. We have animators that have moved into cinematic animation. We have movement within them. The important thing probably for everyone to be aware of as well is that for a studio that's making a big AAA game, for example, that might take 3 or 4 years to develop, we have a plan of scheduling of what we want to do. So obviously you might be on a project for 3 or 4 years. Equally, you might join a project that's near the end of its completion. You're doing certain tasks, you're helping it get ready for release. But then all of a sudden there's going to be one you're going to join in pre-production, which has a completely different style of workload to it. But those are brilliant questions to ask an employer in terms of where is this project at? What would I be doing? What would I be doing moving forward? But also CA has a massive reputation for, since I've joined, we've had people that have come in as graduates, as trainees in entry-level positions, and in 4, 5, 6 years, they're leads of a team. And that can happen, and hopefully most studios are doing those development and those strategies to help people progress in their career. But I can honestly say at CA, you can see that firsthand, that there is that. There is also the movement between disciplines, and there is the movement between teams as and when the opportunities are there. But fundamentally, we have development schedules like everybody. We need to make these games, to exist. Therefore, you might be if you join at certain stages, you might be on a project for 3, 4 years. And then there'll be another one. But yeah, that's how it hopefully works.
Brilliant. Look, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay.
It's great. And thank you to, I'm looking at the Discord here. I'm counting at least a dozen people from CA on the Discord. Yes. So there are not going to be many opportunities. If you want to chat to AAA developers, I know we've got people from every discipline virtually on the Discord from Creative Assembly. So do not let this opportunity pass. You have 40 minutes left to quiz them about any aspect of their job, about Creative Assembly, about getting into a company like Creative Assembly. So take full advantage of that. They've taken time out of their schedules, these games they've got to make to sell millions, to chat to you, because they want to find the best next generation talent. So get on to discord.gamesjobs.live. Chat to the folks from Creative Assembly, chat to the folks from all of the other companies that we've had on today. You've got 40 minutes to extract as much information as you can before you choose who to apply to.
Cool. I just want to say thanks, Colin, as well. The opportunities like this are great for students, I think, and they should relish these opportunities and use these to get connections on LinkedIn and professionally network. And this is a brilliant chance to do that. So yeah, thanks, Colin, for putting on these sorts of things to help.
Not at all. They're fun. A little bit stressful, but they're fun as well. Great. Thanks very much for joining us, Luke.
No worries. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Great. So do jump on and join Luke and everyone else from CA on the Discord. It's really good of so many of them to take the time to join us. Moving on, we're coming back up to Scotland. Our next studio has 2 offices up in Scotland, and they're best known for the console versions of a little game named Minecraft. And not to one-up everyone, but if Creative Assembly's games have sold millions, I think this next company's copies of Minecraft have sold tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. They're also working on new IP as well. So here to tell us more from 4J Studios is David. Hello, David. Oh, we've got you on mute at the moment, David. Okay. Let me see if I can unmute. I can't unmute you. You'll need to do that yourself somehow. The joys of live broadcasting. No, you might want to unjoin and rejoin and see if that defaults back. Okay, David will hopefully be back with us shortly to tell us more about 4J. They've got offices up in Dundee, my hometown, as well as in East Linton, just outside Edinburgh, and they're working on a bunch of cool things that hopefully when David joins us, he can tell us about without having to resort to sign language. Just as a reminder, get on the Discord there. If you've registered for the event, you will be getting an email in about 10 minutes time. It has direct links to all the company's career pages. The whole point of this is to get people applying for jobs. So click through those links in the email you get and just apply for the jobs. And of course, if you do, please let us know. We sometimes feature people that have got jobs through these events on other streams, so just jump on. Right, let's see if we can hear David now, or we need to test his sign language.
That's absolutely classic.
We can hear you. We don't need to see your sign language, but
never drag Windows from a 2K screen to a 4K screen. You lose stuff off the bottom. Okay, hi, I'm David. I'm the art director and studio manager at 4J Studios Dundee. We've got another office in East Linton near Edinburgh as well. We were established in 2005, so we're 16 years old now, and we currently employ 35 people. 4J Studios, as Colin said, is best known for working with Mojang and Microsoft to create the console edition of Minecraft. We released that in May 2012, and since then, the console edition alone has sold over 68 million copies. We continue to support Minecraft and create and update DLC. The most recent pack we did was the Star Wars mashup, and we worked directly with Disney and LucasArts to produce that. That took in the region of 6 months to do, with quite a few artists on it, and it was the biggest pack we've ever done. It was great fun to do, quite stressful at times, but at the same time, really exciting. Everyone in the art team had some input on that project over the course of its life. We're currently working from home remotely because of COVID, like everyone else, but we do intend returning to the office when guidelines allow. Our office was just finished as we started lockdown, so we're quite excited to get back to it because all the paint's still shiny and new, and we want to see what life's like there with our free coffee that some people don't seem to get. Along with Minecraft, 4J Studios currently have several projects on the go, all at various stages of development. We're basically looking to expand the art team. Last year, you may have seen Stuart expanded on the code team, but now we want artists to fill out the roles across the projects. We're both looking for both graduates, which is why I'm here, and experienced individuals at most levels. Mostly so we can step up production on a couple of those projects. We're currently looking for UI artists, 3D artists, animators, and technical artists. The technical artists is the more art-centric side, so people familiar with PBR pipelines, shaders, post-processing, VFX, things like that. At the end of the summer, we might widen the field as well, so keep an eye on our website for any new jobs coming up. We'll also post to Colin so he can post in Games Out Live. But we will be looking at other roles later on down the line. You can apply for your posts by emailing us. The link is on the website on the careers page where you can see each job description. Have a good read through those and make sure you include a portfolio link because some people don't seem to think that's important for art. It would be really good. It saves us time asking you to supply one later on. Hopefully we can chat after this on Discord. We've already been chatting with some of you, and hopefully you're getting the answers you want to hear. You'll also meet my lead artists, Kate and Michael, on there. They're also answering questions. And that pretty much covers everything. Just like to say thanks for listening, and also to Colin for arranging Games Job Live, because it is quite an event. It's really quite good. I think it's really good for you guys to sort of get insight into the industry. Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you for that sponsored session at the end. much appreciated. I mean, the event wouldn't exist if we didn't have companies that were happy reaching out and getting involved, and people like yourself taking the time to take part in it. So thanks for joining us, David. And I mean, the same with Creative Assembly. It's brilliant to have yourself and everyone else from 4G on the Discord, to have people that have already been through the the art process in particular, in this case, that can give people first-hand advice on what to do. I think is really, really valuable. So, I mean, on that, in terms of portfolio, I mean, what would be your sort of top tips for people looking to get their first job in the industry?
With the first job, it's harder. If you've got a portfolio that's very specific to a certain side, like UI design, that kind of makes your life easier. But if you're more of a 3D generalist, we want to see a wide range of things. So you can find your way a little bit as well when you sort of start a career with us. You might come in saying, I really like modeling cars, but 6 months down the line, you might go, I've had enough of cars. And we want to be able to see that you've got a wider range of skills, and that can be adapted a little bit going forward. I think it's important to allow people time to find how they want to fit into a company as well.
That's a really good point, and I've seen that come up before. I mean, people are unsure whether they should specialize early on. Should they focus on cars? Does that give them an edge, or should they be a generalist? I mean, it sounds like you're advising the latter. So,
with a larger company, if you've got a specific type of game you want in mind to work on in mind, you may want to specialize. But if you're aiming for a career in smaller companies, basically you do need to be able to be a little bit adaptable and show a range of skills across the board. Small companies don't have a specific car artist. It will be 2 or 3 of the artists working together across the project. We are, as I said, only 35 people at the moment. We've actually got Minecraft on the go and 3 other projects currently. So, some of those teams are really quite small, especially on the art side. There's only 2 or 3 individuals on a single project. So you do want to be adaptable if you're going to a smaller company, definitely.
Good advice, great stuff. And then, I mean, obviously this is going to vary when you've got teams that are literally just a couple of people. But in terms of how teams are structured normally, is it this fairly classic code, art, design, audio sort of split?
Pretty much. We only really have one audio guy at the moment. That's currently all we need right at this point in time. I do see that expanding, perhaps, as being one of those roles I mentioned that come up later in the year. We also outsource when we require to sort of local musicians and things like that. So on the other roles, yes, it is a fairly structured, but it's quite team-based. We're a little bit unusual in that on smaller projects, when we run the smaller projects, we don't use a producer. We only sort of bring them in when projects get big and unwieldy. And I think that's a good thing, because the team learns to sort of like schedule their own work and sort of manage their own tasks on a day-to-day basis from quite a early stage in their career, and that actually helps them grow into management later on in life. So
to become those producers, maybe that go into the larger projects.
It certainly won't be me. I think it's a special skill set that people have that can do production, and I really think it is admirable that they sort of like take that role, because most producers, although you do have some come straight out of degrees into it, most producers come from an art side or a coding side, simply because they like that kind of work.
Yep. Yeah, no, and you need a certain appreciation of all the different disciplines, don't you, to be a good
Yeah,
producer?
definitely.
I think that's always really important. An interesting question on the Discord just there. Someone, I think this is someone that's got a programming degree, but prior to that, they had 10 years experience doing tattooing. Is that relevant? Could that be relevant to your art positions? Because they've spent 10 years drawing, albeit on bodies. I mean, what's your approach in
Yes.
terms of the relevance of different
I would actually say yes, that is very relevant. One of the toughest roles to recruit for is a technical artist, and someone that has got really strong coding skills backed up by really strong art skills. They generally make the best technical artists, and a tattoo artist can't really make mistakes, so they should be very good at what they do. So yes, I do think that's a relevant thing to share. And if they are interested in art as well as programming, a technical art role is definitely one to get into.
Okay, great advice. I'll get my tattoo gun out and start practicing.
Some of our artists have actually done their own tattoos.
I can well imagine. And then just a final question, my favourite question, what I'm always curious about in terms of, again, pre-COVID, what would the studio do for fun?
For fun, we have quite good Christmas parties, shall I say, on a more regular basis. We do have occasional pub meets and things like that. Some of the team run Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering type clubs. We've got people that hill walk together, sort of as groups that form groups. So we're actually quite a social sort of like company. We play games together. That is really quite important, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Well,
lunchtime games are still a thing as well, So
yeah, and you've got a kind of water sports park on your doorstep, literally.
I'm in as soon as 6 o'clock comes, I'm running along to Fox Lake or Wild Shore, as it's called now, to sort of see some wakeboarding and meet up with the guys there. Dundee's really good for that. Myself, a mountain bike. There's loads of mountain biking in the area, and in Dundee, it's so accessible for the Highlands. You can go anywhere and do anything you want.
Absolutely, yeah. Great stuff. Okay, we've done our advert for Scotland, I think. We're gonna leave the live stream there because we want to leave everyone in peace just to chat to all the companies in the Discord. So David and everyone else from 4J is in the Discord for the next half an hour, as are all the other companies we've had today. So do jump on. If you're not already on, it's discord.gamesjobs.live. Get on there. This is your last chance. You've got half an hour to extract whatever information you can from all these brilliant companies that we've had on today. David, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Thanks, Colin. Thanks for organising.
Cheers. Okay, that brings us to the end of the event. I hope that's been useful. I've certainly learned quite a lot. A lot of companies that I'm a huge fan of that I would love to work with one day. So thank you to all the companies that have presented today, to Blazing Griffin, to Outplay, to Huey Games, to Into Games, to Creative Assembly, and to 4J Studios. Great of them to spare the time joining us today. Thank you to everyone that's helped promote the event and moderate the event. Thanks to Elspeth in particular on that front. If you have enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more events coming up soon. There's not one until I think it's the middle of July, but I'll send out more details of that nearer to the time. Just a reminder about the game jam that we've got, because that's kind of the next event coming up. So the game jam starts in a couple of weeks' time. It's hosted on Itch, but all the details are at jam.gamesjobs.live. And the whole point of this is we round up a whole bunch of industry experts to judge it, so that we're putting the greatest games and the best talent in front of the studios, and hopefully spark conversations that get people hired or get publishing agreements, whatever it is. It's just a great way to connect with the industry. We've run a couple of these before and had hundreds and hundreds of people participating. The quality of the games has been great. Sometimes it's been solo devs, sometimes it's been larger teams, but it's been a lot of fun. Lasts a week. So jump on to jam.gamesjobs.live to find out more. And then just a reminder, get on to the Games Jobs Live website to browse that interactive jobs map that we've got with all 2,000 jobs in games across the UK, with the details of all the regions covering all the companies that we've had on today, as well as all the other parts of the UK, as well as the report that we produce. So we'll leave you to chat to the companies on the Discord for now. Thank you once again for joining us, and I hope to see you at a future event. Thanks again.